So that's mostly the reason why we lock that door and we're like, your friends are not coming in here.
Get a
Yeah.
call. Hey, Mom, can we play Toss the Venator?
They would do something like that. I feel like they'd take it outside and put it in the pool. That's what I feel like
We
they do
saw
with
somebody
it.
on YouTube throw it down the steps. We want to do it too.
Yep.
I've
I'm
never
always
felt
careful with Lego
more
videos.
sympathetic to Will Ferrell's character in the Lego movie.
100%. 100% agree. I'm like, I am Lord Business. I am the one who would build a city and then be like, okay, don't touch it. Even though it's Lego, it's like for kids, don't touch it.
Hello, bricks, chicks, and minifigures. You are listening to AFOLs Welcome, where we talk about all things Lego from the perspective of two adult collectors. We are your co-host. I'm Grinch.
And I'm West.
And today we are hanging out with a fellow AFOL who's about to launch a show that's like American Pickers, but instead of rusty antiques, she's uncovering some of the rarest and coolest Lego collections from basements to garages around the country. But before we get into that and our special guests today, West, welcome back. It's good to have you back. I was getting tired of talking to myself in front of a camera.
Well, it's good to be back.
That's good. Hopefully the move was successful and full of Lego to entertain you at some point.
I don't know about successful. We're still waiting on half of or a good chunk of our stuff to be delivered. So it's not quite over yet. But I did get a little building in, so that was cool.
What did you build?
Oh, man. I built two F1 cars, the Ferrari and the what was the other one? The Red Bull car, which was exciting.
Nice.
And then I built the Spanish gardens, the fountain gardens, and
nice.
But all three of those sets were just wonderful builds. The F1 sets were really cool because they were so different. You know, the front of the car is almost identical or is identical, but once you get to like just beyond the front wheels, things really start to change for the builds. And you know, the cockpits are built differently, the sides, the flares on the sides are built differently, kind of the sloping rear end of the car is built differently, all the way up until, you know, the spoilers on all of the cars are pretty much the same. But just really fun builds, and just a pleasure to go build. I haven't seen the F1 movie yet, but I'm excited to go do that. And it made me think, man, what a crossover opportunity there with Apple TV, the movie, F1. You know, that's already a crossover. Like, why has Lego not made the team from the F1 movie into a Speed Champions car with like a Brad Pitt as the main character, you know, the driver? That seems like easy pickings. But
yeah, F1 anyways, is really, really pushing a marketing push right now. I mean, they're kind of everywhere, it seems, which is interesting. You know, that's like a sport. But our dad liked the F1 movie so much, he saw it twice. So
he did.
You know, there's a fan there.
And at the latest F1 race that just occurred, they actually gave out trophies made of Lego. So their partnership with Lego is not just like a one-off thing for 2025. It's this ongoing campaign to, you know, bring Lego and F1 together. And in fact, it might have already closed by the time this episode airs, but if you went on to Lego Insiders, you could actually put your name in for, I believe it was either Austin or Las Vegas. I think it's Las Vegas. And Lego would send you to that race. So there's a sweepstakes for that. So I think there's more to come from our Lego and F1 collaboration this year, and it's exciting to see. So,
well, it still is 2025, so we will see if that continues into 2026. This year's gone by quick. Don't take it all away from me. Yeah. I obviously we're not recording this Monday morning as it's coming out, so I'm like trying to think, like, you know, about, because I've been building more of my Lord of the Rings dioramas. So I posted some pictures last weekend, and I will be posting some more pictures. But by the time this episode comes out, you should have, they're on the AFOLs Instagram. So go check those out, because there'll be another one up there for sure, at least one more, as far as pictures go. So I've been enjoying making those Lord of the Rings dioramas. They've been a lot of fun, and I put some instructions on Rebrickable, so that's cool. Made a Rebrickable
That's
account.
cool. Yeah, they look great. All
right. Well, glad you got moved in one piece, even if you're still waiting on some stuff. Getting there's the success in my book. So why don't we get over to some exciting Lego news?
Yeah.
Exciting Lego news. All right, West, how about you take us through the news this week?
All right. Well, this was a light news week for Lego. So the first kind of big newsworthy item is that Lego Ideas reached 80 sets that met that voting threshold. So there's already 80 of them. We know this review period has still some time to go. The Brick Fan wrote an excellent article from Monday on this, which was kind of the source for this kind of news item. And we'll talk more about that here in just a second. The next news point was that Lego today, as the day we're recording this, Thursday, Lego Ideas and Lego released and revealed the Italian Riviera Lego Ideal set. So that is ready to go. It'll be out on the shelves later this year in August for everyone to go and pick up. And then finally, I wanted to just kind of comment on some of the summer reveals that came out a few weeks ago while I was absent. So, Grinch, of the news, what stands out?
Oh, man, really looking forward to talking about 80 sets. No, congratulations.
We're going to go through each single one of them.
And we're going to do a 10-minute full breakdown. That's facetious. That's a joke. We are being facetious. We will do our pitch meeting again. But no, the speaking of ideas, the Italian Riviera revealed when this was first, when this idea was first ideated, proposed, submitted, passed, reviewed, whatever, knew it would be a sleeper hit. We talked about just it's a little bit different. It's super colorful. And I really have a feeling that this is going to be like the next old fishing store of ideas. It's going to be one that's pretty popular. And then, or Pirates of the Barracuda Bay, one of those, like, not every idea set is an absolute banger, but I do really feel like this will be one worth collecting, and I think it will be well enjoyed by a lot of fans, because just looking at the thing, there's a ton of details in it. It's very different. I was trying to remember, was the original ideas on modular plates? Like, did they have it set up as a modular?
I don't recall. I know
okay.
If you go to Brick Fanatics, they have an article that compares the two of them with the submission to what we've got. And obviously, like usual, the submission is a little more detailed than what Lego ended up giving us. But yeah,
which I feel like it's hard to. Were they sent the product by the Lego? Because I feel like it's kind of hard to like fully compare them without having the product yet.
It was side by side images. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, and I think you're spot on with this set, right? I think this is going to be a classic in the Lego Ideas line. I was looking at it today and just thinking about how, easily that could integrate with something like the Imperial Fortress set to some extent, right? Because the sort of Mediterranean stucco elements of this set can translate really easily into like a Caribbean element as well, right? So there's just, which, for anyone who's saying the name is the Italian Riviera, like, how dare you? Like, okay, apologies, right? But
to be fair, it is El Dorado, not the Imperial Fort. There's already the memes out there, and Taco's probably laughing, so that's okay.
There we go. So yes, the El Dorado Fortress,
Italian fort set.
The pirate fortress set, Imperial, fort. Anyways. I think there's some really interesting ways that those two sets could be, put together in a similar vignette. it's an area that Lego hasn't really explored too much, right? The vibe that this set gives off is really strong. Did you ever watch the Pixar movie Luca?
Mm-mm.
Very good movie, actually. And I think there were some people who made some sets sort of paying homage to that movie. It's a really fun set. The colors in it are just gorgeous, and like you said, I think this is going to be. I don't even know if I would call it a sleeper hit. I think it's just going to be a blockbuster. I think
Sure.
people are going to be, very excited about this when it's for sale.
I was looking. It was built on. It didn't have Technic pins on the side, anti pins or whatever, but it did have. It was built on a base plate, so it was kind of set up as modular-esque. But so obviously in the Lego one they removed it, and they did keep like a very similar structure of like the yellow building with the off skewed light nougat building, and then but they did the right side of the build is very different.
Yeah,
it's almost like it was like the meme of like, hey, copy my homework but like make it look different, so
well, and I mean, for anyone out there who's maybe a little dismayed that it's not on a base plate, Lego Ideas has always kind of separated itself away from the modular buildings purposefully, right? They've always tried to sort of, and I think that we saw that with the Bricklink Designer Program where they said don't make modular buildings.
Yeah, they made an official announcement that they weren't going to accept them.
Now, they're very easy to modularize though, however, and you can see buildings like the Botanical Garden, buildings like the A-frame. There's videos out there from people modularizing the treehouse set from Ideas in kind of a Mills plate format, rather, right? Like this isn't difficult to do in the grand scheme of things. And so if you're looking at this and you're like, man, I really wish this was on a base plate, like it can be done. And I don't think it's as maybe difficult as maybe people allow. One of the techniques that I'm really excited about is the building on the right. In the picture of the three buildings or the images, the entrance, you actually step down into the building. And I think that's just really cool because you're sort of building at a subterranean level now, right? And the dock and the road is built up at least, I think, 2 bricks higher than the interior of the building. So kind of a new thing for Lego where we're sort of going down inside of a building like that. We've not really done that before.
We're going down. Okay, sorry. I was listening to like Throwbacks Alternative this morning, and I just had Fall Out Boy in my head.
There you go.
Why don't you tell us about the reveals that caught your eye from the summer wave?
Yeah, so Grinch, first and foremost, thanks for holding down the fort while my family and I moved. I really appreciate that. But man, what a summer for Lego fans, especially if you're a Lego Star Wars fan, and especially if you have a thing for the Clone Wars. This year, if you're a fan of Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith or the Clone Wars series, man, we got some just wonderful sets this year. The ones that really stood out to me, I think it would be impossible to ignore that new clone turbo tank that was just revealed. I saw some snippets online. I'm kind of off Lego YouTube at the moment, although American Bricker might get me back into Lego YouTube. We'll see. I'm very excited to watch her first episode, and we'll interview her here next. But I saw some snippets that there's some stability issues with it, the clone turbo tank. But I mean, those clone Marines look fantastic. Do they not, Grinch? I mean, does that not just like get you like? I mean, I'm definitely not buying the set, but I'm like, man, those minifigures are just, as the kids would say these days, bussin'. So very excited to see that. There was the clone battle pack that came out as well with, I think they're like the 312th or the 332nd, but it's the Felucia clones, and they have a new pauldron piece that looks really cool. It's been incorporated, and so if you're kind of into that clone building scene with armies and stuff, just new pieces for that, I think is always a welcome addition. And so It's just been really fun to see all of that stuff kind of come together in Lego Star Wars form. Getting some Lego Star Wars minifigures that we've just never gotten is really neat. So yeah, that's what I'm.
Any comment
excited
on the
about.
price?
It's a lot. But, like I said, I'm not buying it, so I'm not really worried about that. I'll just leave it at that. So,
all right. Well, it's been a little bit of a light news week the past couple of weeks. So why don't we head to greener pastures and get our guest in this episode. Today's topic. In today's episode, we will talk all about the inspiration behind a new show that goes filming into collection tours and what makes collections truly special. From sealed vintage sets to custom mocks to rare minifigures, this new series is all about exploring collections that define the LEGO passion and the fans who collect them. If you're ever wondered what treasure other fans are hiding behind closed doors, this new show will be for you. Without further ado, let's welcome to the show American Bricker. How are you doing?
I'm great. Excited to be here.
welcome.
Thank you.
And for whoever doesn't know, Mickinzi, welcome to the show. We will be calling you Mickinzi from now on, but you are the American Bricker.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, okay, just about the name. I'm just glad I got that name before it got taken. I went on to YouTube,
that's a good one. Yeah.
Instagram, and I'm like, nobody has taken this. Okay, I'm doing it. Even if nothing ever comes of it, I'm having this name. Like I claim it right now. But yeah, I am Mickinzi. I am originally from like near Seattle area, Washington, and we've been in Idaho Falls, Idaho for about 5 years. So 2 little boys, 6 and 3, and I mean, it's summertime, so we've been going. It's like going, swimming, trying to go to the lakes, stuff like that, just enjoying the weather because most people know that we have cold winters. So
yeah, the Lego is not the biggest summer vibe, is it? It's not like the go outside and it's like the inside hobby.
That's true. That is true. So it's like the nighttime because I'm a night owl. So I feel like for me, I do a lot of stuff during the day, and then when I'm home at night, that's when I build. That's my time.
So speaking of building, how did you become an AFOL? Were you always a fan of Lego and just grew up with it throughout the years, or what's your AFOL story?
Okay, so I actually did grow up with Lego. I got my first set in, I think it was 1996. So I was like 5 years old. It was Christmas. I don't really know like how my parents, maybe I asked for it. I can't remember back that far. Maybe I saw a commercial, but they gave me a pirate set. It's like Skull Island.
Nice.
And I still have that set. Somehow I lost some pieces over the years, but I got them all back thanks to Bricklink. I bought a few pieces. It is a complete set, and it's on my shelf downstairs in the Lego room. And it's like that's what started it. Like from that moment on, every Christmas, every birthday, every time I made money and saved it up, it was a Lego set that I wanted. I could care less about anything else. And so on Christmas, I was the most excited to get a Lego set and have something to build. Because you get things and sometimes it's like you use it and it's gone, or it's clothes, you wear it or something like that. But I'm like no, Lego I can build. I can take it down and rebuild it again, or I can just save it for forever, which is what I did with that set. So that is what started my Lego journey. I always tell people, I'm like, there was a time in life where I served a mission for my church and I was gone for a year and a half, and that was like it was the worst time to go because it was Lord of the Rings. And it was like, what was the other one? Indiana Jones. I love movies, and so I missed all those sets. And then when I got back, I was done with college already, and I was just kind of in this phase of life, like, okay, getting married, moving, having kids, and I just was not as interested. I still had all the Harry Potter sets from like the first 4 movies. That was my childhood. I had all those Harry Potter sets, and I was thinking about selling them. And then I was like, no, like I want these for my kids. And then it turns out I just wanted them for me. I'm like, forget my kids. These are mine. Like they might be in the will, but these are my sets. So I kept them. And then all of a sudden, because my husband and I had been talking about Lego, all of a sudden was like, oh, I kind of want this set. So I bought a set, and I think it was probably like 3 years ago that it's just like I went down the rabbit hole with Lego again. That's how I got
Nice.
like became, an AFOL. It was like, oh, I've been a Lego fan my entire life. I've always loved them, and I would buy them for my nieces and nephews. But now it's like, oh no, I'm back to it. Now I'm gonna buy myself the X-Men set. And so yeah, that's just kind of my story. I've always loved Lego, but it was like a hiatus for a couple years, and then came back. And yeah, now it's I don't want to use the word addicted, but I just really love Lego.
That's a good way to put it. Did you go through that awkward phase where you're like, you said you were buying sets for like birthday presents and whatnot. So did you like go through that phase where you're at Target and you're like, yeah, this man, I think is this a good one for like a 15-year-old? And like, I hope you're just buying it for yourself the whole time. You're like, Legos, Lego,
Yeah.
is this what the kids like, right?
I don't even know if I went through that phase. I feel like it was like riding a bike. I feel like I came back to the store and it was like, this set's awesome. Like whatever this theme is. But it was funny because it was different from when I was a kid, I think, because I would look at sets and be like, what is that? I don't want that set. Like, people go out and they're like, I got everything on the new July 1st release. And I'm like, most of those sets I don't love. And so unless I really love a set, most of the time I don't get it. If it's gifted to me, I usually will keep it.
Yeah.
I'll build it. Sometimes I get a set and I'm like, I don't really like that. So I do a giveaway. like,
There you
here you
go.
go. Who want, because people like all different sets. So, but yeah, I just feel like I just hopped right back into it. And yeah, it's bad though, because I'll tell my husband, he's the one with the imagination. And I'm like, there's instructions, right? Like I can find these online because I am like, I follow the instructions. So.
That is okay. West famously likes to modify sets, and I do not. So
Okay.
everybody can build in whatever way they like.
Well, and I think
That's
too,
true.
there's like this awkward period of adult fans of Legos where we like, if you're young enough, like Grinch kind of mentioned, it is weird walking through the aisles of the Target, and you're like, yeah, I'm shopping for the niece or nephew that I definitely don't have because I'm 25. And I'm still not quite ready to be seen in the Target aisle, the Lego aisle in Target. And then fast forward like 3 years later and you're just like, yeah, I'm here, do you have a problem with this? Like so it's just so funny how we grow into our AFOL.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So did the love for Harry Potter follow through to adulthood, or what would you consider your favorite theme now?
I loved Harry Potter when I was a kid. When I was watching those movies, I loved all the sets. And somebody put it really well on Reddit the other day. They're like, it's like beating a dead horse. And it's a little bit with Star Wars too. They come out with sets. It's more Harry Potter though. Like, they have like 6 night bus sets. I'm off on that number, but they have so many of the same set that they just keep re-releasing. And I'm like, I'm an originalist. Like I have my very first, like I don't think I ever had the first Hogwarts castle, but out of all the first sets, it's like the Triwizard Tournament and stuff like that. I have the originals. I'm like, I don't want the new ones. I like the originals, even if they're yellow skin. Like I'm like, I don't need the peach colored skin. Like, so I definitely stopped with Harry Potter. I think I've collected a couple through the years. I have like all the they're like the book sets. Like you open the book and it has all the sets inside of them. I got a really good deal on those, so I bought all of them because they look really cool on the shelf and my kids love them. But I stopped focusing on Harry Potter, especially when I was like 23. I was like, there's more than Harry Potter. I think I just we didn't always have cable growing up. So, and I didn't have the internet. I mean, if I did have the internet, I didn't go to like lego.com. Probably my parents were like, we got to hide this from her. She's going to like it too much. But so for every birthday, like it's like I have a picture of my 14th birthday and it's like I have an iPod Nano and a Harry Potter set. And so for every birthday, it was like Harry Potter, Harry Potter. And then all of a sudden I'm 23 and I'm like, oh my gosh, they've got the Home Alone. It wasn't when I was 23. That was later on. But I'm like looking at all these boxes at the store.
It says when
like,
you're 23. Whatever we
yeah,
say is legitimate.
Totally. I'm only 28.
The listeners will believe it. They don't know any better.
Yeah. So yeah, I just got hooked on all these other sets. And my favorite, I was trying to decide. It's definitely Icon or Ideas. Like, I think the idea behind Lego Ideas is so cool that people can create sets and submit those and they become a real life thing. But I think Icons is where I definitely go because I'll get bits and pieces. Like I love some of the Marvel sets, but I'm definitely not a Marvel collector. And then I know you've got people who are like, I am all Speed Champions or I'm all Lego Technic and things like that. And I'm like, I am definitely, which is bad for me and my husband. It's bad for our budget because the icons and the ideas sets are always super expensive. And so I'm like, dang it, I really chose the wrong one. I should have gone with the Speed Champions. But yeah, I've just like dabbled here and there over the last couple of years. I'm like, oh, these sets are kind of cool. So then all of a sudden I end up like with the new the little F1 collectibles. My son was like, can I get one? I'm like, sure. And then all of a sudden I have all 12. And I'm like, this is so bad.
it just fell into your shopping cart at that point, right?
It did. And then my husband just kind of, I don't even think he gives me a look anymore. He just sees a box arrive and he's like, what is it? And I'm like, Lego. And he's like, okay. Like, I usually tell him like, hey, I'm ordering this. Is that cool? And he just goes, yep. And then when it arrives, he's like, Lego. I'm like, yeah. So that's the usual packages. But yeah.
So of icons and ideas, is there a favorite set? Or are you gonna, sometimes our guests will tell us their favorite theme and the set is like totally different.
Yeah, I thought about that too. It's funny because I literally asked my husband. Sometimes I'm like so undecisive, and I looked at my husband. I said, "What's my favorite set?" And he's like, "Rivendell." And then he was laughing at me because he bought that for me for Christmas, and I still have not built it. It is like the eternal backlog. And everybody's like, "How have you not built that?" And I'm like, "I'll get to it. That'll be like a winter build, I think. Like just."
You don't want to force it. You want to enjoy it.
I know,
right?
I really want to enjoy it. Yeah. And so I said, well, what's another one? And he's like, probably one you don't have. And I'm like, how can that be my favorite set? Like, I don't even know how the build's going to go. So I thought about Titanic because I've wanted that set, but it's just like, I've bought so many Star Wars set for the same price as the Titanic, but for some reason I have not bought the Titanic. And I wonder if it's because I don't have a mantle to place that thing on. Like that thing takes up a lot of space. So
the real
I think
estate premium of that set is just...
Yeah.
You have to see it to appreciate it.
Yes. Oh man. I think that's the dream set that I want. And I know I'm going to have to get it before it retires because then it's just going to skyrocket in price. So I'm like, I'm going to have to get it. But I would say one of my favorite sets. Oh, it's down on I'm like, I have I have most of Steven Spielberg's movie sets. Like those are my favorite, like icons. And I like anything that has to do with movies, like I'm mostly into. So I grabbed those sets quick. And while I loved Jaws, I think that one of my favorites, it's such a hard choice. I'm like, I have all of the Jurassic Park sets. Don't have all of them set up yet, but I legit love the scene with the T-Rex and the Jeep overturned and Tim and Lexi, you know, like their faces, like even the part where the Raptor is entering, you know, the computer room and like, cause now I have them all together. It's like, oh yeah, these are all one set. And I'm like, no, I bought these separately, but like the Jeeps that are put together, like the Ford Explorers or, you know, whatever, you know, when you have those, the attention to detail in those sets, I would say those, but I mean, like I have my Steven Spielberg shelf. So I'm like, I've got Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Jaws, and I'm like, it's just so fitting.
It's hard to choose one set, right?
It is. I know you're like, we asked you for one set. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, I love that you organized it by Steven Spielberg because I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about a Lego collection quite like that, which I think is just a really great way to do that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm doing the same. I'm kind of like, okay, Star Wars is over here. Marvel's here. And then it's kind of like, I think we've even got like the Nintendo. We've got the question mark box and we've got the Nintendo, the classic Nintendo with the TD. And then I'm like, there's one other thing like Pac-Man. So it's like, we've got that. And I'm hoping to like add more to that because I'm sure we're missing like half the Mario sets. We're kind of into that now. We've got kids who love Mario. They have the interactive Mario sets. And now I'm like, okay, well, we've got to get the Mario Kart. We've got to get the Mario and Yoshi. We've got to do this. So we have the Piranha Plant. That's the other one.
You were a little late to the game for AFOL, but Dimensions, have you even peeked at Dimensions yet? A blast from the past?
I mean, I've seen it.
Because it is right up your alley. I mean, just you got to know what you're getting because they have like an E.T. minifigure. They've got Goonies. They've got like the Marshmallow. I mean, they really went kind of just out there as far as just random themes. And so I can foresee you enjoying that too much. So just be careful.
That was me with the CMF. I had never done the CMF
Mhm.
series. That came after my childhood, and so I'd never done it. And then it's the same thing with the F1 collectibles. All of a sudden, I'm at the store for Series 27, and I'm like, I'm gonna get one. And then I'm like, I think I have to get all of them. So I just like, I got lucky. I think it was $36. I ordered it on Lego.com, and I didn't get one single duplicate. Like, I don't
Nice.
know if that happens, rarely, but I was like, okay, I think I maybe did like the 6-pack or something. And so then I went to the store and I did the scan thing and got the other 6 because I was like, to me, it's not just like I have to have 5 Beastmasters. I just wanted the full collection. So now
Yeah.
I've got them in a shelf, nicely displayed, and I'm like, cool. And then my, family and friends, some of them are like, so what do you do with it now? And I'm like, just looks good on my wall. Like, I don't know. My kids will have I feel like they will have a good investment when I die. When I leave all of them my Lego and my will, I'm like, you can't sell it. You better not sell it. But if you do need to, like, here's, the Venator, which will be maybe by the time I die, it'll be worth, 2,000, 3,000. We'll see.
There's a Bricklink store out there that's called like my kids' college savings fund or something like that. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's just the guy who's selling its collection.
Oh my gosh.
So you're passionate about Lego. You said you post. Where can people find your work?
So both, it's like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. It's all American Bricker. So I know Instagram's like at American Bricker, and then I think YouTube's the same at American Bricker, and then TikTok, same thing. I thought if I can get this across all levels to just be the same, then it'd be amazing. And it worked out. I swear I got really lucky getting that name. I thought somebody would have picked that a long time ago.
And yeah, there's no 1s or 4s for A's. It's you got to go get the domain name now. You got to go see if that's still available, I think.
I know, and I really hope after you said that, I'm like, please don't anybody do American Bricker 16. Like, please don't do that. Like, just go get your own name.
When my daughter was born, I made a Gmail account for her with her name as like a way to just claim that address like right away. And I was like, nobody
That's
can
brilliant.
use this. And I think I nailed it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, but it took some few variations because there was a few of them already out there. So I don't know if you guys have done that yet for your kiddos, but
I haven't. Now that you say that, I'm like, I should do that right now. Be like, you don't get to pick, and it will save them, from years of misery. Because sometimes we give our emails out, and they're like, "Is that your AOL from 1992?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
and
when you
like,
made it in high school and it's inappropriate and
like, 100%. And people are like, "How do you spell that?" And you're like, "I am so dumb." And so with my kids, it'll be so easy. They'll just get older, and I'll be like, "Hey, here's the email I set up for you. You don't get to choose." All right, cool.
They sent it with your social security card. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Like, there will be no Lego lover 27 something. Maybe I'd do that for him. But then he'd be like, you never know what your kids are going to do. They love Lego right now, but I'm like, I just set it up with their name. It's probably not something they're going to change. So.
Yeah.
I know you kind of mentioned it where you're like, this is my Lego. Do you ever find yourself as like a parent and you're like building something, or they like go to like touch like one of your Lego sets and you're just like, don't touch that. That's delicate. That's mine.
I have had to like chill out so much with kids. They're so good and they're pretty organized and stuff like that. But like, I'll walk into the Lego room and it like stuff's all over the floor. I'm like, what happened in here? And half the time it's not even my set. It is their set that I'm like, guys, a piece is missing. I'm so OCD. I'm like, I think there's a piece missing to that Ninjago set. You need to find it and you need to put it away. And they're like, I don't care. And I'm like, the only time I'll be out of town sometimes and I'll get a call from my 6-year-old and he's like, Mom, can I play with one of your sets? And in my head, I'm thinking, it depends on which one it is. It really depends. Like, is it a newer one? Is it to me, vintage, stuff like that? And most all the time, it's the one that's like on the very top of the shelf, and it's the police set. It's the full, like, it is one of the biggest sets I have. It reminds me of Home Alone, but it's one that's retired, and I can't even remember what year it is. I'm trying to remember the set number, but yeah, it's like the police. It's the jail. It's like 3 cars. It's got 2 robbers in a jail cell, like 4 cops. It's got their desk and their coffee. Like it's a big set, and he wants to take that down. But then when he plays with it, he like messes it all up, and I'm like, no. He's like, look where I put the bike. Look where I put the coffee, and I'm like, nope, can't do it.
That doesn't go there. If he's anything like my daughter, he probably plays with it for like 5 minutes, and then he's like goes off to do something else, and you're just like, come on.
Yes, I'm like, you asked me to get that down. And I'm just nervous that when I'm getting it down, I'm going to drop it. So I'm like, pick one that's on the bottom shelf. Like, that's easy to put back up. Because my
It's just
3-year-old's
not as
always
cool.
playing with yeah, yeah, it isn't. My 3-year-old plays with the piranha plant where he puts the coins in and pushes the button and they drop out.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, you just keep playing with that one. Because if you break it, it's really easy to fix. And you're not going to really lose pieces in here. Like half the time I'm like, here, take this and go play with it. I'm like, actually, just stay in the Lego room. Because then if you lose a piece, I just have to look in one location. Half the time I'm like, we have
It's
a
brilliant.
lock on our Lego room door. Like I installed like a thumbprint lock thing just because I thought it was cool too. But our kids, like, they know, like, they can't go in there without us. And they're actually good. I was more afraid for their friends. They have a lot of friends that
Yeah.
come over and they know that we have a lot of Lego. And there's few kids that, like, when they're like, can we play with Lego? I'm like, here's a bucket of miscellaneous,
Here's
like old Lego.
Playmobil.
Here's the
Here's
Duplo.
here's
Here
the
you go. They're like,
Duplo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's mostly the reason why we lock that door and we're like, your friends are not coming in here. So,
Get a
yeah.
call. Hey, Mom, can we play Toss the Venator?
They would do something like that. I feel like they'd take it outside and put it in the pool. That's what I feel like
We
they do
saw
with it,
somebody
and
on
then
YouTube throw it down the steps. We want to do it too.
Yep.
I've
I'm
never
always
felt
careful with Lego
more
videos.
sympathetic to Will Ferrell's character in the Lego movie.
100%. 100% agree. I'm like, I am Lord Business. I am the one who would build a city and then be like, okay, don't touch it. Even though it's Lego, it's like for kids, don't touch it. I would feel bad. Now I'm a little bit more chill. And it's partly because we just get them their own Lego sets. So it's like, you have yours to play with. Like, they'll come in and they'll start getting on the X-Men set. I came in the other day and, like, Wolverine's arms, like, he's brand new. I just put him together. His arms were ripped off. His claws were ripped off.
Oh my
Head
God.
was,
Oh my
like,
God.
his whole body. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I look at my husband and my husband's like, I didn't do it. I'm like, well, I know you didn't do it. So I look at both my kids and both kids are like, I didn't do it. And I look at my 3-year-old, I'm like, you don't know how to pull the arm off. I really don't think you know how to, like, yank that out. So I'm just looking at my 6-year-old and I'm like, nobody was here. Like, you guys were here. So it's just funny. I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. At least all the pieces are here. If they weren't
He's
here,
got like
then maybe they're not
chocolate on his hands, and the minifigure has chocolate on. He's
Yeah.
like, wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Covered. Yeah. I'm just like, you guys can touch the Lego. Just don't do it with, like, greasy popcorn hands and don't lose the pieces. That's, like, losing Lego is one of my, like, pet peeves. It's like, I'll go in and I'm like, where's this piece? And sometimes it'll be my husband's like, oh, I stole it for this project I was working on. And I was like, that was from my set. Like, give it back. So sometimes he'll joke and be like, I put it back together. And I'm like, thank you.
So you've been working on a little bit of a project, right?
I have.
Now,
yeah.
We're going to talk all about it, but prior to that, you mostly focused on your Instagram. Is that right? And you did kind of some cool collaborations?
Yeah. That's how it started. It was kind of weird for me. I started it, and I think everybody's hope when you start an Instagram account is that you'll have a lot of followers. And I mean, that was definitely in my head. Like, I'd be like, man, I've got 100 followers. That's cool. But, like, Then I have a sister-in-law who starts a Instagram and she has like 500 in one day. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so it was frustrating because it was like, I do want followers, but I also really want, what's it called? Like, interaction. I really want people to answer the questions I ask. And it's not to get like some status of like, oh, you have really high, people reaching out to you and you have a lot of interaction. It was more like, no, I just want to see what people's opinions are. Like, I really like chatting with people of same interests. And so started the Instagram, had a low amount of followers. And then one day I posted something, I think it was around Christmas time. It was literally a video about cleaning Lego. And I have never seen so much like negativity towards cleaning anything. Actually, I was just like, wow, so the whole reason it became a big thing. And all of a sudden, I have a lot of followers. It was because people were really adamant about like, oh, I can't believe you clean your Lego. Like, you whatever. And then it's like, oh, you clean your Lego. That's so good. Your kids will never get sick. And I'm like, but I didn't even do it for that. So you have all these people coming in with way different reasons for cleaning Lego. And I was like, we bought used Lego and it was covered in animal hair. So we washed it. And so it's
I was
funny
like, were
because
you trying to clean it with like battery acid or something? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and it melted.
like, here's how you clean it with the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Turns
I think
out
somebody
acetone, not the right cleaning solution. So
I should do like a AI video with that. Make it look like there's a big Lego and then like me come in with a flamethrower, and I think people would lose it. Lose it. Cuz I mean you had people that were like, "Man, you must be so wealthy if you have 20 pounds of bulk." And it was like, "What?" And then you had the people that were like, "Wow, you're so wealthy and you're just wasting money on Lego." And it was like there were so many opinions. And so
Hmm.
after that happened, I was like, "Oh, I was a little bit more like interested in posting more content because I had more followers." And so at that point I was like, okay, now I feel like I have to post.
How
So it was
can I
hard for a
piss
little
off
while.
the internet today?
Oh yeah. I was like, I started thinking, what should I do? And of course I asked my followers, I was like, what should I do? And they were like, or what do you like the most? They're like, out of like funny ideas, there was one other thing, and there was reviews. They were like, we just want you to do builds and reviews. And I was like, okay, that's not what I would have guessed, but I've posted quite a few videos, and really there's sometimes it's the ones you wouldn't think would get the most views do.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to think back to your original question. I started off with Instagram, just posting videos, trying to be funny, trying to do things, not getting much interaction. And then that kind of turned to an idea that came from the name American Bricker. I think when I picked that name, I really had an idea in mind. And I talked to my husband, and we decided, because he's got to help me. I'm like, he's my like backup cameraman. So if I've got the mics and he's filming, I'm trying to get, the second shot to make it look good. What we do, so we have this, it's like a YouTube channel show. We haven't released the first episode. The August 1st, I'm going to release the first episode. So we contact somebody who is a Lego collector, and they kind of have to have like, we don't want them to just have like 5 sets. We want them to really have an involvement in Lego. And so we found this guy in Idaho Falls. He is a friend of a family member, and he is a Star Wars collector. He has a few extra sets like NASA, the Disney Castle, but like
Mhm.
his room, he is so organized. Like you'll see it on the episode, but he has, I would say, all the Star Wars sets, but he does it because there's too many. But I was like, do you have them all? And he's like, no, no way. But I'm just looking around. He's got like, most of the UCS sets, and there's ones that he's trying to collect, and there's ones that he's selling. And so I'm like, this is awesome, because I'm like, now I can buy them from you. So I bought a couple things from him. Um, but we went and filmed and like just kind of interviewed him. And it's funny because it was so not awkward, but like I didn't have the questions prepared, but I kind of knew how to do it. I have like a background in journalism, so I was like, I'm just gonna go and ask him these questions. So we show up to his house. I'm filming on the way there. I'm filming going up to the doorstep. Things that you see on a TV show. So
Mhm.
going back, I used to see this show called American Picker. Or American Pickers, and they would drive around the country and they'd stop at old houses, new houses. They'd see something that caught their eye. They'd ask to go in. They'd film and they'd find something and be like, hey, can I buy that? I'll give you this much. And basically, it was like a pawn show almost, because they'd buy stuff, and then after they got it, they'd go sell it, and then they'd say, this is how much profit we made. And I was like, I love selling things, and I love like reselling and investing in Lego. But I was like, I don't want to necessarily just go to like see what value I can make. I want to go see what I can find. And
Mhm.
I'm looking for like those vintage sets where people are like, regardless of how much it's worth, it's more just like, hey, I got this set in 1982. It's 100% complete. It could be sealed, it could be sitting on the shelf, but I just like that thought just was super exciting to me. So we went to this guy's house. We were probably there for like 40 minutes to an hour. And I thought, since it's YouTube, I'm probably just going to do like 20-minute episodes anyways. I'll post a snippet, like a trailer, to my Instagram with a link to the YouTube. And then I'll just have like a 20-minute episode where people can go watch, and they can see people from around. Like I want to branch out. I don't want to just have it in Idaho. Like I was saying, the next time I go to Chicago, I'd love to just message some fans or not fans, followers there, and say, hey, do you have a Lego collection? Can I come film it? Can I come interview you? And just drive out and interview them and make an episode out of it. And I mean, I would be cool because the editing, I feel like it'd be cool to just have an episode a month. That would be fun for me.
Mhm.
Just find somebody new each month. I'm sure I could find somebody for the next 2 years in Idaho Falls. There are quite a few Lego fans here that I'm like, I could find enough for the next 2 years. But it would be fun to, at the bottom of the screen have like Rhode Island or, Massachusetts, just like going around the world, I wouldn't care if I was in London and went and did it. That would be cool. I mean, I would care. It'd be awesome to like be in a different country. I wouldn't care. No, I would totally care. It'd be awesome to be in different places, meeting different people, and just seeing their collections because I know there's so many different collections out there.
When you never know what people have, and especially like you mentioned those like sets that are like the pre-90s sets, right? Like that
Yeah.
generation of Lego collector is now could be right in their 60s, 70s. Grinch and I actually found a collector when I was living in Omaha on an estate sale, and he had passed and had this huge Lego collection, collected just all sorts of toys, but had a huge Lego collection. And that's where Grinch actually got his Fort Legoredo from. And I think I ended up buying like, I don't know, 6 or 7 Lego Santa Fe trains and, coaches from him.
Yeah.
Or I bought his entire collection, but it just, it was insane to see. And so I think estate sales too would be something to definitely take a look in and browse and peruse.
That would be a fun episode too. Like maybe I'll put it out there like on my local Facebook group, like, hey, if you're having an estate sale, like reach out to me first because one, I want to buy it before anybody else, but also it'd be awesome to come to your house and film that. And that'd be an awesome episode, especially if you had like three different estate sales. You like have an episode like Law and Order where you switch to different houses and you're like, this is this one, this is this one.
You could do it as even support for the estates. I mean, it's an estate sale, so usually something unfortunate happens. So you could kind of do it as like a, hey, come out to this estate, like look at all the cool stuff we found, and you could even help.
True.
Those families that are trying to get rid of that by like, hey, don't like you got some really cool stuff here. Don't just give this to somebody. You could sell this online for a lot. You've got every UCS set or something.
Yeah. No, I'm jealous of all the people like the estate sale that you went to. I am so jealous when people type on like, it's like AFOLs Worldwide. It's like a group on Facebook. And they're like, I went to Goodwill today and got this $400 set for $10. And I'm like, what Goodwill are you going to? Like, what country do you live in? But I mean, it's the same with like when Walmart has a sale at a certain Walmart, like in Alabama. And they're like, guess what? I just got Pac-Man. It was 50% off. Oh, now it's 70% off. And I'm like, they've never even sold that at my Target. So I'm like, that is not fair, So I'm like, man, I'm so jealous of all these deals. And that's, that's another reason to become an AFOL and get online is because if you have friends in far places, just have them go get you the 50% off Pac-Man and ship it to you. And it's still cheaper than the regular one. So, but that's kind of where we're at. And I like that idea of the estate sale because I think when you start something new, at least for me, I get so nervous about it. I had it planned since last June, and I don't think we shot the episode till January. That was like my whole thing with having American Bricker. The Instagram account was like, I'm going to make a little show, like a little webisode or something. And timing and probably laziness and just like, do I have the right gear? Like none of it's like super professional, but at least I have a background in videography. So I was like, let's go make the best of this. And hopefully it turns out somewhat good and hopefully it'll get better and better. And so that I'm just excited about it. So,
well, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
And the first episode is my wife likes to say it's like the first pancake, it's not going to be perfect. It takes 2 or 3 to kind of get, everything sort of figured out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but I am excited for it. So.
Well, not to plug my Lego collection, but there is a video on our channel called 30-Year-Old Man Yaps About His Lego Collection for an hour. And I do have a very large Comic-Con collection. So, just saying.
I feel like that would drag me in because I never went to Comic-Con and now I see like all the pieces and minifigs that I've missed from Comic-Con. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have gone sooner. Like they had enough in Seattle. I could have gone to them growing up. And I'm like, I never went. And now I'm like, dang it, I missed out.
Yeah. Just who knew that it would be so much fun, right?
Yeah.
We're so popular.
To be fair, I am the one who gets sucked into those YouTube videos. It'll be like 10 o'clock at night and I will get sucked into a video like 2 guys in their 30s talking about retiring sets this year. And it'll be like an hour video. And I'm just sitting there watching it. And I'm like, I wonder like what people would think if they just walked in and saw me watching this. Like, why are you watching this? It's interesting to me though. I've really just gotten into a lot of things Lego. And it's interesting.
we will not ask you why you're watching it. Don't worry. We don't judge you. We fully support
Yeah.
hour-long Lego content that people enjoy.
Yeah.
So what was there a reason? I mean, were you a big fan of American Picker? Full disclosure, I hadn't seen a lot of episodes. I did watch a couple episodes before this, and it's a very cool show. And it was funny because I did watch one and the guy was like, I don't know, this is my favorite piece. And then he's like, I'll give you $20 for it. And he's like, I think I could do that.
Oh my gosh. You're like, they really, I know. I feel like it'd be opposite for me. I'd go to somebody and be like, wow, you have this all. And I would never want to like dupe somebody, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
if they
sure.
were like, here, I have this set, and I'd be like, can I give you 20? And it ends up being the Cloud City. Like, you know, I don't know. I might be like, I should give you 30 because it's worth a lot more. They're gonna know. Most
Yeah.
people know what their set is worth. Some people want a little bit more than it is worth, and that's when I start laughing. I'm like, you're not gonna get that much for that set. Like, I can actually go buy that right now, sealed on eBay, or sometimes, you know, it gets resold through Amazon sellers or Walmart sellers, and it's like I can still get that. But yeah, to be totally honest, I probably only watched American Picker because my parents, I think it was usually on like HGTV or the other home channel, and you know, I'd get hooked on it. It was like Pawn Stars and what, Storage Wars. Like, I always got hooked on that.
Storage Wars.
I have tried to go because I've seen people like buy storage units. Last month I was in Denver and a guy bought a storage unit, and I'm in Denver and I'm seeing all these Lego sets. There's not a big, what do you call it, demographic for Lego selling where I live in Idaho. So you get lucky sometimes, but most of the time you get your Lego through like eBay and other places. So I'm in Denver. I see this listing for a set from the early 2000s. It's the snowboarding set. I didn't even know this set existed.
Classic.
I've never heard of it, but I'm a snowboarder and I love everything about it. And he's selling it for like $70, and it's like the 2 original sets, 100% complete. I think it even has the instructions. So I go down to his house. He opens his garage, and I'm just like, what the heck? And he's like, yeah, I just bought this old guy's storage shed. I think he bought the unit for like, he spent $1,000. He had $500 sets. It's just brand new in box. So it's like 5 times 500 times, oh, you have 100 little sets. And then he had like tons of memorabilia from different wars, and he had some old clothes. Like, there was a rack of just like 70s polyester suits, I think. But I was just literally focused on the Lego. And so I asked him, I was thinking like maybe like he wouldn't know, and maybe he'd like give me a good deal. But I asked him about one of the sets. It was probably one of the old modular city buildings that's like been retired for like 10 or 20 years. And it's a huge box. When it came out, it was probably like 500. And I think it like was valued at like 1,200 now or something. So I buy my set and I'm like, I can't afford any of your other boxes. They're too much, you know? So I leave and I'm driving away and I'm like, hold on, I will drive back down here. He said he paid $1,000. I'm going to offer him like, I don't know if it was 1,200 or $2,000. I was like, I texted him. I said, if I paid you this much money, would you give me everything? I'll give you a profit like on what you paid for the storage. And he goes, nah. He's like, the Lego, I know it's worth so much. And I'm like, all right, I tried. I was like, it never hurts to ask. I seriously, we were driving and we probably didn't even have the space in our car, but I would have made it work. I would have been shoving, boxes to the rafters. So anyways, I didn't win on that one, but I was just so stoked. It was a nerd moment, just seeing all the sets in his garage.
I think what you bring up is a really interesting phenomenon these days, which is that like the internet has ruined like deals. You know what I mean? Like anybody can look stuff up these days. And what in the situation that I had with the estate sale, like the guys at the estate sale knew what they had. And they clearly were not like Lego people, but they knew that it was worth something. Yeah. I think I paid $1,000 for 4 of the train cars. It was 4 of the train cars and 2 of the train engines. And he accepted $1,000 for that. But I mean, that was still a lot of money for those sets. So
it is. That's what's so painful. You're like, I don't know. Sometimes I just get good deals. Sometimes somebody will say like, hey, I have this. So we started collecting Ninjago for my 6-year-old. And I got really excited about it because I'd see a lady post and be like, hey, this is almost 100% complete. We're selling it for like 40. It's worth this much. I'm like, it can't be. Sure enough, I go online and it's a retired set and Amazon has it for like 180. And I'm like, there is no way. And so I'm like, okay, I want the set. Not just because it might be worth a ton in a few years, but like you're selling it for so cheap and it's such a cool set. So I get it for my son, and that's where I'm like, okay, don't lose it. You can see him in the background. He's like, it's like, don't lose the pieces, don't lose the minifigs, because it took quite a bit of time when some of the pieces that were missing were more expensive, like minifigs. And so it took me kind of a few months. Like, even when it's only $20, it's really hard for me to buy a $20 minifig to a set that's going to my son. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it though, because in the long run, this minifig is going to be worth a ton. So sometimes I'm investment. Sometimes I'm like, no, I just really like this set.
Yeah. What was it? Goodwill that found the 14 karat gold Bionicle mask, like it was donated in a lot. And so, they looked it up and they're like, oh, this is a 1 of 1. And so they auctioned it for like $18,000.
Oh my, dang it. I'm
Yeah. Could
mad
you
that
imagine
Goodwill has
like,
internet.
yeah,
Could you
right?
imagine getting,
Like,
okay, first of all, yeah, could you imagine getting rid of that? No, I think I'd
buying a
die.
$5 bag of Lego and then just being like, dumping it out. Like, let's wash it and see what we got here. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is shiny.
That's honestly what I hope to come across with, like, when I buy bulk. So I don't do it very often, but I want my kids to have pieces to just play with and imagine and stuff like that. I'll buy the bulk, and my goal, not goal, but like my hope is that when I dump it out, there's going to be some awesome minifig or like a piece that's just amazing. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm like, I got to get out there. Sometimes when I'm literally driving down a dirt road and I see an old farmhouse, I'm like, I want to go and see if they have Lego. I just want to knock on the door and be like, do you have Lego? I'll buy it. Because I'm like, you're sitting on a gem. I bet you have this in your attic from your, son back in the 80s, and you don't even know you have it. So maybe I'll be brave enough to do that one day. But that's kind of like American Picker. I'm sure they plan it beforehand, but they're driving down a road and they're like, hey, I think there's an old Honda motorcycle in that barn. Let's go knock on the door.
You should put an advertisement in your local newspaper.
Okay.
And just say like, hey, I'll buy.
Or Craigslist.
Like the 60-year-olds like are reading opening up
those
the paper.
60-year-olds. Yeah.
Like the old farmers and stuff, though,
wild.
right? Like that, and that's your target audience. So
that's true.
They'll look
I
in the
like that idea.
classifieds. Yeah, just say,
awesome.
we'll buy Lego.
I'm writing that down.
Lego.
I'm like, I am writing that down to go do a classify. I would do Craigslist, but it was weird. Moving from Washington to here, I would use OfferUp more than I ever used Facebook Marketplace. And then I used Craigslist, and I moved here, and it was like, that's obsolete. Like, it doesn't exist here. I'm like, Facebook and Marketplace is the only thing that people use here. And I'm like, okay, at least I have something to work with. But it's just like, dang it, I was really hoping I'd have like 3 different avenues to post stuff.
So, speaking of American Bricker,
yes,
you filmed the first one. Did you have any unforeseen challenges with it or anything like that?
I wish I could take the microphone I'm using right now and take that. It has good sound, but I just love the way this one sounds. And I showed you the other day, but it's like, this little lavalier that you hook on. I'm trying to steal my brother's DJI because as tacky as it sounds sometimes, because that's what you see in every Facebook video. It's like that sound quality is so good. I think the unforeseen challenges are kids, my kids, but also the people that you're interviewing. Like, I remember we were in the middle of the episode and his daughter, the guy that I was interviewing, his daughter is so cute and she just wanted to be around. But like, I think she interrupted like 5 times and I was like, I'm trying to be patient. And I was like, that's nice. And like, I tried to turn and be like, so back to this, honestly, that's like most of the, the unforeseen issues is just if I was just talking to him, and I handed him a microphone, so maybe her voice won't be too much in the video, but I handed him a microphone and he's like, oh, we're doing it this way. And I was like, oh yeah, we're legit. Like, I'm going to interview you. You're going to answer questions. I'm going to film this. Like, I want this to be a thing. So I'm like, and luckily he was so good at it. It was just kind of natural. He just talked about everything. Like, not overly enthusiastic, like, so in a good way, not like, faking it for the channel or whatever, but it went pretty well. So besides just like a few interruptions and maybe we'll see how the camera did and everything like that. But I've got all the footage uploaded, trying to do the music for the episode, trying to figure out how to do a trailer. But it was good. But like you said, definitely the first time, it's like making pancakes. You're working out all the kinks.
And what are you hoping viewers take away from it?
Oh, that's a good question. I have thought of that before. I'm hoping they take away that, like, it's funny. My first episode is Star Wars, but I'm hoping that they take away that there's more than just Star Wars, or there's more than just more than just one type of set. And it's funny because I'm like, this will be my first set, but I hope people realize, like, it's not just gonna be like, I'm not like, if I call somebody and say, hey, you answered this ad, or you answered my post on Facebook, what kind of Lego sets do you have? It's kind of like a pre-interview. It's like, how many sets do you have? What is your love of Lego been like over the years? Like, did you just start? I want to get such a different demographic of people, because I think with Jonah, the guy that I interviewed for the first episode, he started collecting later in life, and then he just has, like, it's almost like he has every poly bag, if it came in McDonald's, he has that Star Wars set.
Chase.
And so I think what I want people to come away with is that, like, there's tons of collectors out there. And, I'm assuming that people that don't love Lego might not watch it, but you never know, because you get people that don't necessarily love antiques and they're still watching the Antique Roadshow because they're like, oh, that person just made $40,000 off an old painting they had in their house. So I'm hoping that people come away with that, like, that there's a different, like, everybody that likes Lego can still be different. We all have different likes, and the way that we do things is different.
Well, I'd like to touch back with you in like a year and find out, like, what is the weirdest, or like most weird's not a right word, right? Because I'm not trying to shame anyone's game.
Unique,
but like
unique
or eclectic collection you've come across, Like,
yes.
I think that would be a really interesting, like, someone's like, yeah, I have Paradisa and I have, like, I don't know, like, I can't even think of something, like, whatever the
I know, you're like, I can't be this Yeah. Because I remember one time saying, I was like interviewed, and I was like, they were like, what set don't you like, or what is it, like, theme, what theme don't you like? And I was like, I just, the dreams theme, it's so weird to me. And he was like, have you ever watched it? And I was like, no. And he's like, you've got to watch it. And I thought about that a little bit, and I was like, you know what, maybe if I did watch this with my kids, I might like this. I still haven't, but it's like, there's just certain themes, like, I will straight up, I told him, I was like, I cannot stand the Friends theme. It is such a blow to Lego. Like, I know they want to make it inclusive, but I'm a girl and I loved Lego growing up, and they had female characters, but they didn't have the dolly Friends kind of characters. And so, like, when people are like, what's your least favorite? I'm like, that is hands down right there. And now my son, who I didn't even tell about it, we got the Encanto set for Christmas, and he hasn't built it yet because he wants me to get regular minifigs for it. He does not like the Friends minifigs that came with it. So we haven't built it, and I'm like, that's fine, but it's kind of in the backlog. It's like, okay, I'm going to get custom minifigs for our Encanto set, and then he'll build it, and then we can put, my mom was like, you don't like it? And I was like, no, I love it. It's a great gift. I love Lego. Like, give me the Lego. But we're going to switch a few things up.
But there's this thing called the system and the mini dolls. They just don't fit. It's like 4 and a 6 of a brick. Just no.
No. I'm like, I am happy. Like, I know my nieces collect those, and they've got some really cool sets. I just, like, I love it when their minifigs get, like, chewed by their dog or they get lost. I'm like, oh, cool, the set's so awesome. Where's the minifig? Oh, it's gone. Okay, don't worry about that. I'll go get you a cooler minifig for this set. But yeah, no, they do have some great ideas. And when they're building the sets, I'm like, I've never had a water park set. Like, that's awesome. I'm like, okay, there's something to this. So
I feel like Friends is like the side of the coin with, like, City, right? Where, like, City is focused on, like, fire trucks and police cars and construction equipment, and like, Friends is like, yeah, here's, like, the town pool, or here's, like, a trip to the beach, and it's like,
yes.
And I think, like, a lot of us adults are like, oh, that's a great looking set, like, those are really cool houses in this set, or like the modern mansion, and everyone's like, do I like Lego Friends now? And I think
I have felt that.
But I do. You bring up a really interesting point, and it's one Grinch and I have raised in the past, and I'm sure we owe an episode on this to kind of really have a discussion. But what
Yeah.
is the future of the mini doll? And
Yeah.
clearly, the line is selling well, but it, does it need to be a thing anymore? And I don't think it does. So
Wonder. Yeah, that's how I feel like we watched the show Wednesday, and then they came out with some sets for
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, and I would totally buy their sets if they were not Friends themed and or, a big like it's like the Brickheads, but it's massive. It's like Wednesday Adams. And I'm like,
Yeah.
just make a sick little minifig that I can put with that set because that set is really cool, but I just can't stand the Friends. I'm like, nope, I just can't do it. So I can honestly say I don't own any Friends minifigs, but having gone through bulk, they've got some sweet pieces. And so like,
Mm-hmm.
they've got I think I don't know if this is 100% true, but like guitars, like they've had some guitars in the Friends
yeah,
sets.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I wanted an electric guitar. Like my husband's a big guitar player, stuff like that. And so I wanted them for like our custom little minifigs. They have radios. There's just some things in those sets as I built them with my nieces. I'm like, even my husband has a bunch of the water slide pieces from the original Friends sets, but we just don't have the minifigs. We're like, all right, we're kind of going to the dark side a little bit. At least it's legit Lego, but yeah, we've kind of gone over to that side just a little bit.
I think a lot of the original like modern utensil pieces were all
Mm-hmm.
started in the Friends line and then kind of came over into the regular Lego system, which they look almost like hilariously large for like a minifigure. Like the spoon they have is like an ice cream scoop size spoon,
It is. It's
you
an
know.
ice cream scoop. Yeah,
But
that's true.
you know, Lego scale, right? Like you can
Yeah.
pull your hair out if you focus on it too much.
Yeah, you can for sure.
You guys are way nicer than I am because I always thought that was like an embalming tool. So never, my mind is way darker than yours.
I was legit thinking
You're
the
all,
ice cream scoop. Like, yeah, that's not
you're all
Liz.
ice cream scoops and joy, and I'm over here with embalming
That's what it is.
mummification. Oh geez. Okay, I gotta go get a therapist. No, I do really like your work. There's so much content out there, right? There's so much content creation out there, and
Yeah,
the mission and the idea of the goal of just kind of being like, hey, there's a billion ways to Lego, right? And your
yeah,
collection can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be this giant Lego Star Wars collection that you see with every single set. It can be so many other things. So I think that's really
absolutely.
cool.
Well,
Yeah.
and you
Yep.
focus it on other people too, right? And that's really nice, I think, in the larger Lego influencer world where the influencer themselves is the subject. You're taking time and you're finding people who may not have the, voice or access or, audience that you have, and you're giving them an opportunity to share their Lego
True.
story with all of us. And I think
True.
that is really cool too.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. I do like including other people. I'm definitely a people person and I obviously like to talk. And so it's just fun to get to meet people and I don't know, just see their background on it. Especially like I said, the different demographic of like, oh, I started when I was, 5 or whatever. And other people who are like, I've met people who are like, I went through a divorce and I was 60 and I was kind of depressed and I got a Lego set and that just like snapped me out of my depression and now I have something that I can do. And they kind of, it helped them move on with their life to get back to a
Uh-huh.
better space, So
Well, do you have you talked a little bit about like trying to maybe go to London or something like that. I mean, maybe a little facetiously, like maybe down the road after a couple of pancakes here, but any immediate plans to kind of expand the work after you get this first episode out?
That's a good question. We live super close to Salt Lake City, Utah. If I go back to Denver, that's what I should have done is just like whenever I go somewhere, I should just say, we're just going to film an episode. We're going to reach out. We're going to film an episode. I can always come back and edit it. It doesn't have
Uh-huh.
to be perfect. I think that maybe if I have time when we go down to Salt Lake, maybe just putting it out there, going to like a Salt Lake group or messaging friends and saying, hey, put this out. And if you have any friends, I'd love to come film them. I think, but the coolest thing is when you have a following, I can post to my Instagram and I'm sure I have somebody that I
Yeah,
know that lives in
sure.
Salt Lake.
Mhm.
And so it could be a fellow Instagrammer, it could be somebody I've never met. And that's kind of the way I'm thinking I'm gonna do it. Cause I'm like, I could join a random Utah Facebook page. But I think if I just post to my Instagram page and say, hey, I'm coming to Salt Lake City. And I could, like I said, it doesn't matter where they're from. So if there's like 3 different people that message back and say, I'm in Salt Lake City, I could go film 3 episodes, or I could combine them and be like, this week in Salt Lake City, I met these 3 people, and just show off their, collections. So I think for now, just close by. I wish I would have done it when I was in Seattle earlier this year, but I just wasn't like my main focus. I think I was so focused on producing content, little reels, that I kind of missed some opportunities. So, but yeah, I'm like, if I go to Europe later this year, or maybe next year, like if I go to Hawaii, like I should just go and be like, hey guys, who lives here? Let me come intrude on your house and see your collection. Cause that might be the easiest place to start, is with fellow Instagram people who I already know their AFOLs and they have collections and stuff like that.
Sounds like you need to set up an LLC, and then you can write all this off on your taxes. And
I do. That's so true. What's kind of cool is, like, I was talking to my tax guy, and he's like, well, you took this trip last year and you took your kids to Legoland, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, did you go do business? Did you talk about because I have a different kind of LLC. And he's like, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, sweet, we're writing it off. So I'm like, oh, that's awesome. It would be, I mean, it would be a sweet goal to have in the future. Like, oh, if I could get enough followers to where, maybe I get free Lego or something like that. If I'm not paying $500 on every Lego set I get, I could use that for travel, and then it kind of pays for itself. So we'll see what the future brings. It'd be so nice to just be able to travel to different places and meet people and do a lot of different things.
Well, if you wouldn't mind reminding the listeners where they can find you, and when the first episode of American Bricker will appear and where, that would be awesome.
Yes. So I'm at American Bricker. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and the first episode of American Bricker will be released on August 1st.
And I think I told you, and this is still true today. If you want to send us the trailer, we'll post it, on our end as well, so that, our followers can find it too. Because I think it's a really, really cool project. And thank you again so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciated having you and enjoyed the conversation.
No, I did too. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. I'm excited to have it go live.
Brick Mail. All right. Well, thank you again to American Bricker Mickinzi for joining us. Please, please, please check out her Instagram and watch the first episode of American Bricker. I know I'm excited about it. We met at Brick World, and she was telling me about her idea. I was like, we got to have you on the show so that we can, share this idea and help you get it started, because it is really a interesting idea, and I like we said, one that I really think says a lot about the individual behind the creation, and showcasing what all Lego is for everybody. So I think that's very cool. So West, Brick Mail, why don't you take us away on the first Brick Mail here? Oh, rip open the first letter for us.
Well, our first Brick Mail came from Spotify, and a longtime listener, longtime commenter on the show, John FC66, who writes in that he's never played Prince of Persia. He goes, I think I watched the movie back in the day, but I can't really remember. Didn't know about the connection. Yeah. Didn't know much about the connection to Assassin's Creed. I am a big fan of that series, so it was interesting to learn about that. Another great solo episode. Interesting theory on why Lego set prices are getting higher. I think the movie actually, and Grinch, you did a really great job of kind of going through the timeline of the game. I think the movie was like the nail in the coffin for that franchise. You know what I mean? Like, I think once that failed, there was like no hope in resurrecting it.
I rewatched it like 2 years ago, and I remember like
I've never
watching it and being like, this isn't that bad. Like, I had never watched it. I think I just said rewatched it. That was a speako. I watched it for the first time a few years ago, and I remember watching, legitimately being like, it's not that bad, but maybe it's because my expectations were like, this movie kind of killed a franchise. But also, it was interesting. It was a fun episode to do because there was a lot of like interesting, tidbits like Assassin's Creed. And then I was reading about how, the actual movie was more of a little bit of a global hit. Like it didn't do well in the US, it wasn't received well, but globally it actually did way better than expected. So it kind of failed, but didn't fail. So it was really kind of interesting to get into all that. But yeah, I remember watching and being like, it's really not that bad, but it is on Disney Plus if anybody wants to watch it for free, because yeah, it's too bad.
Well, and you've inspired me to look up, because Disney, and I really like the analysis that you had. I'm commenting on the episode you made because I didn't have the
Brickmail.
opportunity to be there.
Writing in on the spot. This is Brickmail Live.
Yeah. I like the analysis that you gave of like talking about how this was sort of Disney's attempt to create another Pirates of the Caribbean blockbuster, right? With Jerry Bruckheimer as the director, and seeing that kind of play out, and not only seeing that movie flop, but then they had the flop with the Lone Ranger, and don't forget John Carter.
Yeah, I didn't say it on the episode, but I literally was like, oh, I forgot about John Carter too.
And we never got John Carter Lego sets. That could have been a thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I would be surprised. I would
probably have him in my basement right now if it was, yeah, because I'm just a weirdo like that.
But it's so funny to think back on like that era of Lego, which I know for me was kind of solidly that 2010 to 2016 period, if not, give or take a few years, was solidly my dark ages. And so, but yeah, we just had a series of movies that just absolutely flopped, and a series of Lego, releases that just also struggled because of it, right? And each for their own sort of unique reasons. So what a fascinating topic on corporate misdirection. So
well, interestingly enough, they kind of moved away from creating their own IP and they bought Star Wars. So after John Carter failed in 2012 and Lone Ranger, I think was 2013, they ended up, they bought Star Wars, and 2015, a few years later, they're like, let's go destroy this. And our next...
Well, but to be fair to your point, right? Like,
what if Johnny Depp was just a drunk Jedi and
they have done a lot of like remakes and live action versions and movies like The Lone Ranger, right? Like that wasn't an original story from Disney,
right?
And neither was, I believe, John Carter, and nor was Prince of Persia. So I think they were. You can see Disney is trying to expand the franchise in interesting ways. It's just, the execution was a little less than stellar. So.
Well, and I mean, to be honest, too, Disney was not, outside of Mickey Mouse, and some of those original characters, like the Disney Prince, like Cinderella, is not an original Disney IP either, right? These are old Brothers Grimm fairy tales in some cases.
Sure.
Like, yeah. So,
yeah.
Our next brick mail, and I'm gonna pronounce the last name wrong, Evan Telskow. Sorry about that. Writes in, I love this one. You guys keep on making great episodes, even if they are solo. I've gone through the whole backlog of podcasts when I was going through my Lego backlog. This is my favorite Lego podcast. You should talk about the new idea sets leaked. Good job, guys. Can't wait for the next show. And I did, West, I'll let you come in just a second. I wanted to mention that we don't talk about leaks for a couple reasons. One, we have wonderful guests that are on the show like we had today. And while American Bricker's not in LAN, we do have LAN members that are on the show. So we want to respect that aspect. And, we don't want to be promoting leaks because then we would potentially lose out on having some guests. And then number two, we have been around this Lego game for a long enough time when, leaks are not facts. And sometimes things get leaked early. Sometimes rumors get created. Sometimes fake leaks occur, and what we don't want to do is, act on information, especially if we're calling something a news segment where it's not noteworthy, it's fake, right? So we don't want to necessarily create false expectations, pass along information that's not true. So we've taken the decision and decided to unfortunately not talk about leaks. I know that's not fun and exciting, but there is a subreddit out there called Lego Leaks if you want to get all of your leaking information. Go ham, have a good time. You can set up alerts like I do. I mean, there's a few sources out there that I will encourage you to go check out if you're into leaks for sure.
Yeah, Grinch, you said it extraordinarily well. And to build off that a little bit, just this last year, right? We just got a canceled Lego set in the Dreams line, that like tower set that was just canceled. And so I think that sort of underlines our issue with covering, news about unreleased sets, which is even up to the point where Lego's about ready to pull the trigger on, mass producing these things for, consumer consumption. They can always change their mind for one reason or another. And so to Grinch's point, right, we don't want to contribute or add to sort of the noise. We would like to provide more of a signal for our listeners on the show, and avoid sort of entering into that game of speculation, because that's where we think there can be a lot of the, there's more raw emotion with the speculation side of the house. So, but as we talked about too with Mickinzi, with American Brickers, there's a lot going on there. So there's a lot of other ways to get that information. And when you are someone who's trying to cover leaks, timeliness is such an important factor, and both Grinch and I think are at a point where we're trying to not necessarily feel like we are, beholden to a shot clock of minutes, sometimes seconds, with some of this information before somebody else posts it online and beats us to it, right? So covering leaks is a tough game, because if you're a day late, you don't really have new or novel information. So
well said. And that is a wrap of another episode of AFOLs Welcome. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to this show. If you would like to write the podcast, please email us at afolswelcome@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at AFOLsWelcome. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.